Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Catch You on the Pip Side. My name is Teresa, and I'm happy to have you here today. Today, this video is going to be about how to count points or pips on US30, as well as how to calculate your lot size or handle your risk management on US30, just because it does work a little bit different than Forex pairs. So today, the first thing we're going to talk about is how to count points or pips on US30. So as most of you probably know, or if you're here looking up this video, it's probably because you're trying to figure out how to calculate points or pips on US30. Now, the thing that makes this tricky is that every broker counts US30 differently and has different lot sizing set up for US30. So as an example, the broker that I use, a 1.0 or a standard lot, is worth $1 per point. Okay, and it's important to note that this is not per pip. Okay, with US30, we refer to it as a point, and there is 10 pips in every point. So on my broker, 1.0 or a standard lot is only worth $1 per point. On other brokers, 0.01 is worth $1 per point. For example, this is Hugo's Way. Okay, Hugo's Way, when you enter 0.01, so a micro lot into your MT4 trading app, that is worth $1 per point. So you can easily see how you can make a really large mistake if you don't know how your broker counts US30. If you entered in 1.0 thinking that your broker worked the same as my broker, you would be playing $100 per point instead of $1 per point. So it's a massive difference. Also, some brokers only allow you to play $1 per point. That's the smallest that you can play with them. With my broker, I can play a 0.1, which for me, that's worth 10 cents per point. With Hugo's Way, the smallest that you can play is $1 per point because their 0.01 is already worth $1. Another example would be Black Bull markets. With Black Bull, the smallest you can play is 1.0, which is worth $1 per point. And that's the smallest allowed on Black Bull. Okay, so every broker with US30 works differently, and you need to make sure that you open an account, a demo account with them, and take some trades and then do the math and make sure that you are 100% sure that you understand how your broker works for US30. So hopefully that clarifies that a little bit. Now, as far as spreads on US30 go, we are going to talk about that as well. So US30 spreads. Most brokers that I've seen don't charge commission on US30. They only charge you the spread. I could be wrong. I haven't looked at every single broker, obviously, in the world, but the ones that I have looked at, I've never seen anyone charge a commission. I've only seen them charge a spread. The best spread that I've ever seen on US30 is 1.2 pips. I've seen that once before with a broker. My personal broker, the spread that I get on US30 is 1.5 points. That's my spread, 1.5 points. And if you want to convert that into pips, that would be 15 pips. And when you look at it on your quote screen on your MetaTrader 4 app, it's generally listed in pipettes. So mine says 150 pipettes. So sometimes though, so my broker, my spread is not always that low. This is my most ideal spread, but throughout the day when different markets are open, so for example, my 1.5 point spread, that is when New York and London are open. That's when I get my best spread. Other times of the day, my spread will increase, and sometimes it'll say 270. Other times it might even say 380. So when you see these big numbers, the 150 or the 270 or the 380, you need to divide this by 100 or you need to move the decimal 2 points to the left to get it in points. Because when you're looking at your charts for US30, they're done generally in points. Like when you're using your ruler, it measures it out in points. And most brokers that I've seen pay per point. So I just like to think about everything in terms of points. It just makes it easier for me. And not that you have to do it that way, but that's just the way that it works best for me. Now, other brokers are going to have different spreads. So black bull markets, the best spread that I ever see from them is generally 1.8. I think Owanda is generally like quite high, somewhere around 4 points. That is also probably because they are regulated and insured. So your spread is going to be more if you want a regulated insured broker. And there's lots more. I'm not going to list off every different broker, but every broker is going to have a different spread. And ideally, you want a broker, especially if you're scalping, you want a broker that has a low spread. Okay, so that's a little bit of spread information. Now, the next thing we're going to cover is counting points on US30. Now, the numbers that you see on different broker feeds, and I'm going to show you some examples of this, are different. So for my broker, when I look at US30, it displays it to me like this. So 31132.65. So for me, there's 2 numbers after the decimal displayed. When I look at TradingView and I am trading US30, I normally look at the broker feed from Currency.com because my broker doesn't feed directly to TradingView. So I have to look at a different broker's feed. And when I look at Currency.com, they don't have any numbers listed behind the decimal, right? It's just the whole numbers. There's no decimal points. But if you look at Owanda, for example, I'll just pull up Owanda. So when you look at the list of all the different options that you have for US30, if we select Owanda and click on that one, we can see that on their price bar, they do have numbers behind the decimal. Okay, so every different broker is going to work a little bit differently in that regard. I personally use Currency.com because their price feed is generally the closest to my broker. But this is another extremely important part. If you're looking at a chart that's being fed from a different broker than your own, you need to make sure that you're looking at the price difference between that broker and your broker. Because if when current price is 31,134 on Currency.com, but if on your broker, current market price is only 31,130, it means there's a 4-point discrepancy between the 2 brokers' price feeds. If you're setting a take profit and you're setting it based off of Currency.com, that price is going to be 4 points higher than the price in your phone. So you need to adjust your take profit number to correlate with that discrepancy. So you would want to set it to be 4 points lower than what you see on TradingView so that it matches in your phone. And that's critically important. I think that's the #1 reason that I see people saying, oh, why did your take profit get hit, but mine didn't when they're following live educators trading? It's because of the discrepancy between the price feeds of the 2 different brokers. Now, the solution to that, of course, would be to trade on a chart that's actually being fed by your broker, which you could do by using MetaTrader 4. Sorry about that. My 3-year-old desperately needed peanut butter. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know the difference in the price between your broker and the feed or chart that you're looking at. To avoid that, you want to trade on a chart that's actually a chart of your own broker. So you could trade on desktop MT4. I personally don't very often just because the software is very archaic to me and outdated. Also, I use a Mac and it doesn't run very well on Mac compared to PC, but I am actually looking at transitioning over to using MT4 more in the future here. But I've been using TradingView and simply entering the my trades, onto my phone into the MetaTrader 4 app. But I just wanted to touch base on that quickly, that you need to understand there's a difference in the price feeds. Every broker's price is going to be a bit different. So if we go back to counting points on US30, when I look at counting points, I ignore the number behind the decimal completely on my broker. So if I was to look on my phone right now, if I was to look at the two prices of my ask and my bid, this is my ask price, and 31136.35 is my bid price. And if we do the math on those, if we take the biggest number, the bid, and subtract it from the ask, that is going to give you your spread. I hope everyone follows that, because that's how your spread is determined, is between the ask and the bid. So for me right now, because the market's closed while I'm doing this, this calculates out to be 3.7 points, which matches exactly to the spread that's currently displayed on my phone, which is listed as 370, because this is listed in pipettes. And so to get pipettes into pips, I would either divide by 100, or I would move the decimal 2 points to the left to make it 3.7. So 3.7 pips, 3.7 points is worth 37 pips, which is worth 370 pipettes. And so the difference between these two numbers was my spread. And my spread is very high right now because the market's closed. It'll open in another couple hours because it's Sunday right now. So because the market's closed, my spread is currently very high. Once the market opens again, my spread will start working its way back down to its optimal price. And I only trade when my spread is back down at its optimal range. I don't trade when my spread is high or elevated. Okay, so the point here is that I was saying is that when I'm doing the math on how to count the points, I ignore the 0.35 and I ignore the 0.65. I'm doing the math generally, like if I'm just trying to calculate something quickly, I'm doing the math on just the last 2 digits. Unless it's a really big trade, then you might be using 3 digits, but generally just the last 2. So 36 minus 32 is 4. And the reason down here it's only 3.7 is because that was taking into effect the decimals. But if you're just looking for like a quick estimate of how many points it is, you can just quickly look at the last 2 numbers before the decimal. So 36 minus 32, so it'd be like, okay, that's approximately 4 points. Or if you want the exact amount, so let's just say that you had taken a trade. Xbox, there you go. Okay, so let's just say that you had taken a trade at 31,134. That was current market price when you got in the trade. And then when you closed the trade, you were at 31,067. To figure out how many points you made on that sell, so this would be a sell because price is going down. So you would go through 31,134 minus 31,067, and that would tell you that you earned 67 points. Sorry, 3-year-old again. Okay, Cassie and Mommy's just working, so you're gonna have to wait a minute, okay? Okay, ask Katie to help you. Okay, sorry. I keep on trying to shoot this video and I keep getting interrupted, so I'll probably have to reshoot it again. But anyways, if you take 31,134 and you subtract your exit price of 31,067, you'll get 67 points. So that's how many points you would have earned on this sell. Now, to figure out how much money you made on this trade, you would have to look at what your lot size was. And keep in mind that your lot size, every broker is going to be different. So I'm just going to use examples for my broker, but you have to keep in mind that your broker might be different, and you need to do some practice trades to make sure that you understand how your broker is counting points. So for me, if I was playing a 1.0 lot size, that would be worth $1 per point. And so in this example, I would have made $67 because I had 67 points. The bigger your lot size, the more you would have made. So if you were playing a 91.0 on my broker, that would be worth $91 per point. And then you would go $91 times 67 is $6,097 on that trade. Okay, and then again, keep in mind that this works exactly the same way in reverse. If you were wrong about this trade and it hit your stop loss and you lost 67 points, so you're negative 67 points, and if your lot size was 1.0, and so that was worth $1 per point on your broker, then that would be $67 lost. Okay, so the numbers work the same both ways. And then another thing I want to point out is that every single time you ever enter a trade, you're going to start off the trade in the negative. If price moves really quickly in the right direction, you might not notice, but when you enter a trade, you're always starting off in the negative because that's how the broker makes their money. So for me, for example, if I was entering a trade on US30 and my spread was at 1.5, and let's say I was playing a 91 lot size, so 91.0 lot size, which for me is worth $91 per point. So if I'm automatically starting the trade negative 1.5 points, then you would go 1.5 times 91. So I'm going to start the trade immediately $136.50 in the negative or in drawdown because of the spread. So the bigger your account gets and the larger lot size you're playing, the more significant your drawdown is when you first enter a trade. If you were playing with just a smaller lot size on a smaller account, if you started off the trade with a 1.5 spread, point spread, and you were playing a 1.0, which is worth $1 on my broker, in this case, you would start the trade negative $1.50. Okay, so my point is that every trade you take, you're going to start in the negative because that's how the broker makes their money. They put you in the trade a little bit less than current market price, so that's where they make their money from. So just be aware of that. And you have to, as your account gets bigger, you need to get used to the larger amount of drawdown that your account goes into with the spread. And if a trade goes the wrong way at first and there's any drawdown, you need to get used to that number psychologically. So that's why it's not recommended to start off with a really huge account, because it can be, you need to get used to the amount that you're in drawdown. Anyways, that's what I wanted to cover for today, was how to count points on US30, lot sizing on US30, and spreads on US30. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If it did, feel free to share it with some friends and press the subscribe button down below. And we will be back with another video soon. Catch you on the pip side.